Tilt a little bit towards the TV. Yeah, that's good.
What's the deal, man? PolitiKan The Podcast. We back again. Here after that, man, bullshit ass 2020 presidential debate. That shit was crazy. We got a lot of shit to talk about, man. We donning this Black History Part 2 because what we don't realize is that we're making history every day. So let's stop focusing on the past and let's focus on the future. Like my boy Alvin would say, but he's not able to make it with us today. But I got the HL podcast. My boy Educator. Yeah. We finna get it in.
It's a problem.
Yes, hey, sir. What's the deal, fellas?
Good, fellas?
What it do?
How y'all living? Hey, I had to say, man, I listened to y'all interview together. Educated, man, you be kicking a little bit of game. You know what I'm saying? You're not quite like me. Right. You kick a little bit though. I see
I'm trying to get like y'all. I'm trying to get up to y'all's level. That's all it is, baby.
Yeah, but if y'all ain't checked out the HL podcast, man, these brothers are very versatile, man. Check them out. Man. They do live interviews on Tuesdays, man. The HL podcast on Thursdays.
Yes, sir.
If y'all ain't did that, man, subscribe.
Thank you,
man. We got to get to this 2020 election, man. What was y'all take from this whole thing? Like, first, like, how did it make y'all feel when it was over? And what was the whole overall takeaway from the debate?
Let me. If y'all mind. All right. So, how did it make us feel? Because I believe I can speak for you, Chief, on this one. It made us feel drained by the end. It was very exhausting that we had to sit through an hour and a half or hour and really 40 minutes of the ignorance that was spewed, the bullying carried on by 45, Biden seeming very timid, and sometimes unsure of himself and his answers. You could definitely tell, though, every time Biden set up to make a point against Trump, that's when Trump chimed in and disrupted him, and then that debacled his thinking. The curator, or what do you call it? The moderator. Thank you.
Moderator.
Thank you. Was horrible. I don't see how he's the number one journalist in the country. But he did not have control. Apparently, he could have actually threatened to cut off 45's microphone. There were methods that he could have used or stepped in to slow 45 down or get him to stop his rhetoric and interrupting, but he just kept going in the back and forth. That was just blatantly disgraceful. And one last point for me was it's sad that these are the only two choices. Even though, look, I mean, listen, we'd rather have Biden than Trump than 45. But even with Biden, there's still no full confidence there.
Facts. Yeah, man, like you said, was drained, man, especially mentally. And I've been working hard on mental, especially this year, you know, especially as a Black man. You know, we come in the game. We born with trauma, 400 years of trauma. That's called epigenetics. We're born with that for 400 years. So then we have to deal with this. And to see two men who don't look like me argue over stuff that has something to do with me and never answer the questions that has something to do about me is very, very draining. And the moderator didn't help. Yet he aided in 45, and sometimes, especially when it came to the race question, he said you can answer or you can say whatever else you want to say.
Ridiculous.
I'm like, you giving him the leeway to not answer it. Okay, so you aided into it. Then it's more draining to then watch CNN and then Fox, because CNN is blue and then Fox is red. So if you watch Fox, they're gonna give you all the views for the red side, and if you watch CNN, you're gonna get all the blue. So it's you can see the division in the polarization between the two, and that's on widespread. I forget her name. She said, "I feel embarrassed." I said, "I don't feel embarrassed. Shoot, I'm not from this. I'm not from America. I'm not from this world anyway. So I don't feel embarrassed, but I do feel drained that I had to sit through that, and it's two more left."
Man,
That's crazy. What's your thoughts, Educator?
My thoughts on it was, I thought I was watching my kids.
Right.
I thought I was watching my kids. Like, my kids is 3 and 2, and I gotta tell them, hey, share that. Don't do that. No, put that down. Be quiet. Stop doing this. And I thought I was watching them, seeing them going back and forth. I'm like, hey, yo, Trump, man, just shut up. Just shut up. Let the man talk. And then on the other side, then Joe Biden wouldn't let Trump talk. And then the narrator or whatever it is, the moderator, that dude was all over the place. I didn't know like what he was doing. I was like, oh man, I was just confused. By the end of it, I was like, I don't get nobody's point. I don't know what nobody's talking about. I don't get anything. I just wasted an hour and 45 minutes of my life
that you would never get back.
That I won't get back. Mm-hmm. And I'm still trying to figure out what they were talking about. Then, like how y'all said, you turn on CNN, all they gonna do is bash Trump. And you turn on Fox, all they gonna do is bash Biden. So I'm like, y'all ain't gonna give it on the equal playing ground.
Never.
So I'm just like, Lord, please, Lord, please.
There you go.
Let Kamala and the vice president at least have a little more like quiet time. Like, they know how to be quiet, like, you know. So that's really what I took from it. I think both of them did horrible. I thought it was like they both were horrible. I was like, I ain't going, man. For me, looking at Joe Biden, I'm like, if you can't handle Trump, you can't handle America.
Woo.
Like, that just goes down to that.
That's some real shit, though.
Like, if you can't handle Trump, you can't handle America. And then on vice versa, I go with Trump. Like, if you can't shut up and take instructions, what are you doing with everybody else when they telling you, hey, we need you to pass this. Hey, we need you to do this. Hey, we need you to send out another stimulus check. You going, no, I'm going to do it my way. And so that's all I took from it.
Message.
For real. For me, it was as expected. It wasn't like, once you think about it, it went just the way you thought it was gonna go. So it's like these guys have personal beef with each other. It's bigger than just the presidential race. That's why Trump is taking shots at Biden's sons, and Biden has taken shots at Trump Jr. You know what I'm saying, and his family members, and talk about the Democrats was spreading those rumors that Trump was having relations with his daughter, and they start showing. But then Trump responded with the whole smear campaign with Joe Biden sniffing little girls' hair. You know what I'm saying? So they both just as creepy, man. It's like, but one thing that we cannot look past is what Trump said when they asked him about the white supremacists.
I can't wait till you brought that up.
He told them to stand down, and stand by.
What in the hood? What they call that? In the hood, what they call that?
Wait for the green light. That's what he just told them on my TV. Live. Wait until I give the green light. And that's exactly crazy. Right. Like, he sat there on an international stage and told the white supremacists of America to stand down and stand by. Like,
so I got a question.
as black people, we can't. If that ain't a message to get your shit together and prepare for whatever the fuck gonna happen, because he's saying that because he said that he's not gonna concede. So even if Joe Biden beats this nigga, he's saying he ain't walking out the White House.
That's exactly what he said. He coded it, but that's exactly what he was saying. As that debate ended. He called basically the process bullshit. All right, that's basically what he said. It's a bullshit process, and ultimately, it's not gonna come in my favor. So, you know what they call it, the Proud Boys or something.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready. And honestly, what might happen as well is if these Proud Boys have stations across America, like the Klan do, it might be intimidation at the polls. They might call for people to set up at particular polls and intimidate people from not voting, possibly. And then at that point, who steps in? Local police, national guard, you know
how that go.
What's going to be the process at that point? But he coded it. But if you can read between the lines, as we all can, and hopefully some of our black people out there can read between those lines, that's exactly what he's saying. Like you said, he's not gonna concede, and it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and if you don't know who those Proud Boys are, I'm not gonna give you the language and the verbiage. If you're watching this, go look it up. It's all on there. Go look it up. But I'll tell you what this is leading up to, because I am a Kamala Harris fan. Though she did some things back in the day, we can't do nothing with that. But she can help us in this point. And all that, what we saw last night is leading up to October 7th, which is the vice president debates, where she will be on that stage, loud and proud, looking like us and representing for us. And we know she know how to handle a white man, if you get what I'm saying. So she's going to be up there, and she's going to be handling that and standing proud for us, and I just hope that I don't bite my words.
My thing is...
hold on 1 second about Kamala, though. Are you sure? Because that's where she went in her presidential campaign. The Democratic debate is where she took her plummet, because she performed terribly at the Democratic debates. So it is up in the air, man. She cannot let Pence come out there and dominate her, because that's going to be a bad showing for the Democrats overall.
No, so, I get that.
It is a whole lot riding on that vice presidential debate, and people don't even realize it.
But we only need one chance to show up and show out. We only need one chance to show up and show out. Democratic debates was months ago. We talking about next week, my brother. You know, if she plummets, then we get back on here, and I apologize for everything that I said. I give you a due. But right now, we riding on that because we saw last night.
It's the real NBA Finals.
Fact.
My thing on it is, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, I'm going with just keeping it simple and going with putting a line on a piece of paper and just going pros and cons. Pros and cons. To me, Trump not standing down for white supremacy, okay, I don't really care. Like, okay, I already knew you were racist. So you not standing down for not saying that you're not racist. That showed me that you stand by what you believe. Okay, you're racist. But at the same time, I think Joe Biden's racist. So what is the difference? They both racist. So if they both racist, they cancel each other out. Okay, let me find something new to go off of, because if we start making a deal off of Trump not saying it, you already knew beforehand Trump was racist. So why are you gonna get mad at Trump being racist? He just being Trump. He already racist.
I didn't get mad at him. Yeah, I didn't think that he would denounce the white supremacy, but for them to say, he could have just said stand down, but to tell them stand by, that was the part that.
But you already like subconsciously in your mind, you already know that they already working like that.
Yep.
That's
But you
why
can't say that on
I already
international
know
stage
you
with,
know that, Caleb. Because you
50 million,
before
with 50
this,
million plus
you were
followers.
already like, yo, we need to get our stuff together. It's coming. Black people, what's going on? When are we bringing Black Panthers back? When are we doing this and that? Why? Because you already knew stuff like this was coming in your mind.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Now the world has to wake up and go, oh shoot, Caleb was right. They are trying to take us out. Like you, man, they both racist because as much as Trump said what he said, Biden came out before and he said that we are the predators and that we are going to he needs to watch his grandma, that we're going to hit his grandma over the head and rape his daughters and then hit his grandma over the head with a pipe and fight his sons. So that came out of Joe Biden's mouth. So racism for racism, they're both racist, man. We better find something, man. That's on. We better pro and con this.
So then the question becomes, who are you voting for then? I mean, I know nobody here is going to vote for Trump, but
I can honestly say I don't even know who I vote. I have not put my name by Biden. I have not put my name by Biden, but I have not put my name by Trump. What I'm going to do is I'm really going to look into both of them and go, which one of these dudes fit my moral standard? And then I'm going to go off of that. I'm not going to do this whole, I'm not going to vote at all because you're not voting at all. That means you're voting for both of them. So that's how I feel about that. And then for me, my main thing is this guy right here. This, as in, I'm talking about San Bernardino where I live. I need to vote for a governor. I need to vote for all that because at the end of the day, like I already said before in the podcast before, at the end of the day, Trump is in office, but Governor Newsom is passing some crazy laws right now, and the president ain't doing nothing about it. So Governor Newsom passing laws with when my daughter's 14, once again, when my daughter's 14, she can get with a 24-year-old. Biden didn't pass that. Trump didn't pass that. My governor passed that. The people in California passing that. So my main thing is I need my boy Caleb to help me out. F the president. Let's go through some of these things that they about to pass and like these propositions that are going on because we need to be educated on that.
Mm-hmm. Facts. I totally agree. They teach us every 4 years, but it's elections going on every 2 years, like you said, them governors and all that other stuff. But see, Lord, speak to me in this moment because it's about to get real. It's a Bible verse that said, "But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread." Okay, but the more they were oppressed, the more that they multiplied and spread. Little did they know, we got the census. We got all of those, and they give us that, white people outnumber us, but I don't think they truly counting us. Okay, the more that we were, who's oppressed? I don't know the people who look like me. That means we spreading everywhere. Okay, that means our vote can count in those elections that no one is talking about. Those ones that people are holding office since I was born.
Yeah,
those folks, stuff like that. Those folks when you go to the Supreme Court and all of those other things. Like this is what these platforms is about. We got to keep talking to these folks. We got to keep getting that knowledge from up top, who is God, and utilizing that knowledge and spreading it as mediators. Us, you, Caleb, Educator, Amrock, and myself, man, we are mediators, and they don't like that. Okay, and we speaking that real true knowledge. All right. So at this point, what else can we do to keep spreading it? You get what I'm saying? Because they're gonna block us on social media. You know how that go. So we need to get out there in them streets. We gotta talk to our family members, those who are lost, because there's some people who are lost. But we gotta continue to pray and get the knowledge from up top to tell these folks what they truly do and what they truly say.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, it sucks that again we have to vote for one of these men to be, quote unquote, the leader of the free world.
It's quotations around that free, by the way.
Yeah, definitely double quotations. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and say who I'm gonna vote for. I know it definitely won't be 45, simply because this man embodies just not even racism or bigotry, but just hatred. Hatred for the poor, hatred for the mentally ill, hatred for the elderly, hatred for children, hatred for any people of color, any people who simply just disagree with him. Somebody could simply tell this man 2 + 2 = 4. He will say no, it equals 3, and kick you out of your position out of the White House.
That's right.
It is. He is very simple in that manner, and you can't have someone simple like that leading the nation, as we have seen over the last 3 to 4 years. With Biden, again, he just simply looks timid. I don't think that we're going to get the same potential race wars or wars against the poor and the rich, or wars against citizens and law enforcement with Biden. I think we will get that with Trump if he gets 4 more years. With Biden, yeah, it's just gonna depend on him and Kamala and what do they attack first, right? Do they attack, racial injustice, police brutality, and the murders that are happening? Do they attack the economy? Do they attack his, 45's tax bill that he put in, at the beginning of his reign? What do they go after? What do they go after first? How do they handle it? I mean, obviously, we wouldn't know until they get into office, but we've seen what 45 has done.
Yeah.
So that would be my response.
So, since you're talking about 45, this presidential race is for potentially President 46.
Yeah.
46. We're going on our 46th president. And as Black people, we're still fighting for our humanity in America. What president do you feel like ever had Black people's back? And why do you feel that way?
That's tough. That's tough.
And I see it as, I see that question as like it's like we trying to find the GOAT president for Black people.
Right. Talk to him.
We find it. Which president is the GOAT for helping out Black people?
Talk to him.
I think of it as like the NBA. Like you had trailblazers and people to change the culture in the NBA. You had Jordan. You had Allen Iverson. You had Kareem. You had all these different people that helped make the game how the game is. And I just see it as the same thing as we trying to find the GOAT president, where none of these presidents really give a damn about us Black people. But if we had to do it, you know what I'm saying? Some people would say, hey, the Kareem is Abraham Lincoln. He did the whole anti-slavery thing. Or you can go JFK. JFK came out with the speech about civil rights moral for Black people. I mean, you can go with, some people will go with Trump. He gave you that stimulus check, baby. Obama helping out with the helping out unemployment. And then what was the dude's name? Dang, what's that dude's name?
What time frame?
London Johnson or something like that.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Civil rights bill.
He came out with the whole Head Start. And what's Head Start? To help underprivileged communities out with their education. So you got all these different presidents doing little things for Black people, but guess what? We still in the same spot trying to fight for quotation, double quotation,
freedom.
So ain't none of them do nothing. They did little things because they had to do little things. It's the same thing with what's going on right now. Joe Biden don't care about black people. Trump don't care about black people, but they need your black vote. So what we gonna do? We gonna give you a little something so I can get your vote. They don't care about us. They'll give you a little bit, but you know, we still fighting just to be looked at the same as white people. So, and that started with the first president. So I don't know who the GOAT is.
Yeah. Simply no president in history has done anything that has significantly changed where black people have gone. Okay. In a positive manner. All right. Negatively, absolutely. But positively, again, like Educator said, there have been, small steps, but nothing of significance. Abraham Lincoln clearly stated that if he could end the Civil War and also keep slavery in place, he would have done so. So that's, with Lyndon B. Johnson, especially with the Civil Rights Bill, with the infamous picture of Martin Luther King, by his side in the White House. Again, with that, he felt pressured to do that. With Barack Obama, this man literally passed more bills for LBGT community, for women, for Hispanics, and for bills that ultimately would help white people, because at the end of the day, we can't disguise the fact that white people are the majority in this country. So they really, our vote doesn't really matter. Because again, if we're only making up 12% of the population, 5 of that is incarcerated or living below. Well, I take that back. 5 of that is incarcerated. 10% mixed in with the 5% is basically living below the poverty line. There's only about 1% of black people, quote unquote, middle class, are doing okay, and then another 1% that is rich. Okay, that's a small number in this big thing, right? So again, even with Barack Obama, where he had an opportunity to potentially help, and he didn't have to do anything, crazy, make his whole cabinet black or, all of a sudden, just pass out ownership cards to just anybody and say, all right, you own the Bills and you own the Eagles and you own the Miami Heat. He didn't have to do something extreme like that or give black people reparations. But but yeah, short answer, simple answer to the question. No president in history has done anything of true significance to help black people in a positive manner.
Agreed. Because we at this point in like last night debate, which a lot of people not talking about, on the back wall, it had the Constitution. That joint, you could just see "We the People" everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. That's a direct shot at us because I don't know, we wasn't in the rooms when they wrote that. Was your grandfather in the room? Was your great grandmother in that room? No, so that's a direct shot at us.
Where were they at?
You know where they were.
They were on fields.
Exactly.
Okay. Just checking.
Yep. Fingers getting pricked, getting 8 pounds of cotton, stuff like that. Like, so we definitely wasn't in those rooms. So that's a direct shot at us. And let's not talk about the Electoral College. I mean, there's 568 or 86 of them who make pretty much, they run this whole America. If you want to be,
they make the final decision.
They make the final decision, because if not, if our vote truly meant something, then we would be seeing Hillary on stage right now. Okay, Hillary won by millions or thousands of votes, but Trump still got in. Okay, because of electoral college. Once again, have you ever met one of them? Have they ever talked to you? So once again, I always quote my boy G Herbo. If you never live how he lived, you can't feel a man. They don't understand us. They up there making rules and laws and putting in it's all these different strings being pulled, before we even get to anything else. So has there ever been a GOAT president? No. Will there ever be a GOAT president? No, until God takes over and takes that away from everybody. It's just as simple as that. Yep. From President 1 all the way to 46 or all the way to 100, we're not going to get a GOAT president unless his name is God.
Hey, I forgot. The GOAT president, I forgot to say, I guess the GOAT president is Ronald Reagan, because when Ronald Reagan came out, that's when crack came out. So when crack came out, you put it together.
Hey, right. Everybody's forgetting that. Everybody's forgetting that.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Ronald Reagan, man.
We wouldn't have the rap. We wouldn't have the rap scene that we have if it wasn't for crack cocaine.
See?
Ronald Reagan is the GOAT.
Ronald Reagan is the GOAT, baby.
You burnt for that. You burnt
my man, the movie star. Ronald Reagan.
Right. That's funny.
That is crazy, but I do believe that you're absolutely right. That from President 1 to 100, there isn't going to be no president that fits that bill. So, as Black people in America, we need to realize that, and that's why I'm a Garveyite, and I believe that eventually Black people will have to find somewhere to go, or end up in a civil war in which 5% is going against 65. You know what I'm saying? That's if you look at America's biggest problem throughout its history. After they got rid of the British, they said, "Okay, well, what are we gonna do with these niggas?" And it's been an American problem since its conception, is they've been trying to figure out what to do with these niggas. And that's us. And as long as we keep entertaining them, we good. But the moment that we ain't fun to watch no more, they ain't gonna have no more use for us. And that moment is reaching ahead, man. So as Black people in America, we need to realize that there is no solace in America. We can't just build our own factions within America and think we safe. You know what I'm saying? It's just not gonna happen. So do you guys think that we will ever have another Black president? Was that a one and done?
It's got to be, and I'm glad you said that, we can't really build much here, right? I talk to Amark all the time. I'm in my Moses phase right now, because Moses did a lot for the people, whether you believe the story or not. It could be a parable still. He did a lot, but he didn't go to them and said, let me rebuild on top of Egypt. He went to them and said, let my people go. You see what I'm saying? They went through the first body of water. The deliverance and freedom demands a fight, just like Dr. Miles Monroe said. So we gotta get to a point where even if it's another Black president, it's more strings above him or her that's going to be getting pulled that they're not going to be able to do. And to them, we're still 3/5 of a human. They just don't say it. 3/5 of a human being. I have blood in my body. I walk. I talk. I got to brush my teeth in the morning just like everybody else. But they don't see that, right? So we at this point where, one, deliverance is the first phase, and two, we're in the wilderness. We got to understand when we go out in that wilderness, it's a mindset thing at that point. And a lot of people not going to make it. A lot of people not going to make it because the mindset of America, not Egypt at this point. The mindset of America is going to be on us. And it's going to be hard for a lot of us to get rid of that. Because slavery is easy. Quote me on that. Slavery is easy. You get everything. But in freedom, you got to do for yourself. You got to partner with God, as Dr. Miles Monroe would say at this point. So if there's another Black president, okay, I take that for the win for the culture. But will he or she be able to do a lot for us with the strings above them, attached to them, which is slavery strings, which is racism strings, all of that, because the Constitution and all that's still alive. Ask the Electoral College.
Yes, simply there may be, but it won't be a Democrat. It could potentially be.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it could potentially be a Republican or independent, but it won't be a Democrat again. Simply because, again, well, the way, just checking the temperature of what's happening, you see a lot of Black people lately, and it could be propaganda with the media, but you see a lot of Black people, just a lot of coons out there. Again, for those who don't know, coons are educated. They just choose to side with their oppressor. But you see a lot of them out there really galvanizing around Trump, and not just Trump, galvanizing around the fact that if they feel like if we assign ourselves with our oppressor,
right,
that we can be up in the house. Again, it's just that slavery mentality, so to speak, right? And we've seen examples of that throughout history. Okay, I think what was it? Was it W.E.B. Du Bois? I believe. So we've seen that throughout history, but it just seems like now, especially with social media and everything is more broadcasted, they're really out there. Number one ace right now is Daniel Cameron. This man apparently is a superstar in the Republican Party. Literally, and he's only an attorney general of a state. So you can imagine if 45 gets 4 more years, how would that be if he elects Daniel Cameron to be the attorney general? Especially with the time that's happening right now within law enforcement. And you brought up, Reagan and Nixon, of course, really galvanized that, and J. Edgar before him with the specific plans to shut down, Black parties such as the Black Panther Party or other Black movements. Can you imagine? That might be Daniel Cameron's first assignment. Bring in BLM, bring in any Pan-Africanist that is out there, preaching what we should be hearing, i.e., somebody like a Dr. Umar Johnson. So I don't think it's going to be another Black Democrat, but there could possibly be a Republican or independent.
Wow, that's tough.
Crazy. What's your thoughts, Educator?
My thoughts is I care less, bro. I care less. Like the first one, with our first one, I'm giving it to it because of more so of I didn't know his moves because of the age I was at, and I didn't have kids, so I'm giving it to him because of that. As in, I'm not judging him off of you didn't do nothing for me, but I think more about presidency now because I got kids. So I'm thinking, okay, 4 years from now, my kids are gonna be like 7 and 6, you know. So I'm thinking like that. Where back then, when President Obama was in office, I wasn't thinking like that. But if I think about it, I'm like, man, did he even do anything for me that I really like? Oh shoot, like dang, he had the Black people's back. Let's go. No. And if we get another one in, no, they don't care. Like the president holds some weight, but the president don't hold weight like that, man.
Say that one more again.
The president holds weight, but the president don't hold weight like that. So for me, I don't care who's in office. Like if you vote Joe in, Joe's gonna be in, but Joe ain't gonna be controlling the strings. You let Trump stay in, Trump ain't controlling the strings. We ain't even talking. All the president is smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Checks and
Why am I
balances.
going
It's
to
literally
let me get past the fog and let me
checks
get
and balances.
Yeah, so I don't care if another black president come in. We got one. Woo! Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's keep on.
Yo, so my next question brings us to, you know, with all these millionaires and billionaires and rappers getting all this money and athletes and entertainers, and it's a lot of money flowing into black hands. Not on a grand scale, but there's more black millionaires and billionaires in America than ever before through entertainment. Why isn't any of this money being funneled to the people? And why aren't any of these people setting up organizations like, like the Black Panthers or like Black Wall Street? Like, how do we have black billionaires and millionaires and people of prominence, educators, and from people from all backgrounds, but we still don't have a Black Wall Street? But when we were segregated and we were forced to deal with our own, we thrived and we had these things. So why can't we create these things nowadays, and why aren't they being created?
You know why? I tell you why. I know you, but you put that camera on me. Put that.
Go ahead. Talk to him.
You want me to tell you why? Let me tell you something. What is going on right? It's as simple as what is being played right now. When we get off of here, what is being played? What is a whole bunch of people watching right now? They ain't even watching it. They're watching the NBA playoffs. Some of the richest black people in the world getting paid millions of dollars. You know, I didn't make it to the NBA, so I got a little jealousy in me. But they making millions of dollars, and they will rather play basketball than sit out for a whole season. LeBron James wants to get his fourth or fifth title instead of really making a statement going, I ain't playing this year. So they rather just go, okay, cool. Let's just put Black Lives Matter on the court and we good. I'm gonna make my millions. I'm gonna get my championship. I'm gonna be in the conversation of who's better, me or Michael Jordan, or whatever the case may be. If we can't even come together and sit out in an NBA championship, what you think we're gonna come together and put our money together?
Message.
If we can't even take our stimulus check and invest back into yourself instead of investing in Gucci, Louis, and all some other stuff, what do you think we really gonna come together? Those people came together because they had a common thing, and that common thing was, oh damn, like no, the white people don't like you neither. They don't like me. Let's do it together. Some of these people, like how you guys said, some of these people, you know, hey, they think that the white people like them. Like, the white people like me. I make this much money. It's not going to affect me. So if you can't come together and if you can't stop a NBA season, what do you think you're going to really be able to bring the Black Panthers back?
Come on, man. Talk to them. Black Panthers, Black Wall Street, anything. And I used this this analogy, this parable before when we spoke with you a few weeks ago, Educator, and you know we both love lions. And they showed us back in the day what they do to our leaders in lions. Okay, what does a lion mother or father do or does for the baby cubs? They show them the power that works within them. They say, sit here and watch while I go hunt this gazelle down. Once you take the mother and the father away from them cubs, they die because they do not know how to hunt because they never seen their mothers or anybody in front of them show them how to chase that mug down, how to hide, be patient. You know, be patient with the gift you have. Be patient what's inside of you. You get what I'm saying? They don't have that. What they do, they took away Martin Luther King. They took away Malcolm X. They bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street. They took Medgar Evers away. They take everybody away, those who are showing and leading us in this whole fight. They are our mom and pop lions. They're showing us how to hunt. Oh, but they take us away. And watch out for anybody that's speaking the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a mental thing. Epigenetics is real, right? And it's a mental thing at this point. So what are our black leaders doing now? You know, they're not utilizing group economics right now. Why? Because last time we met up, it used to be a law. You meet up, we kill you. So they say, no, I'm not going to do that. And I see Shirley Wright say true sacrifice. That's absolutely right. Who is really truly to utilize their gift to sacrifice their bodies in their lives, like MLK did for us, like Malcolm X, like everybody else did for us.
Yeah, and it's tough for athletes and musicians, people in the entertainment world. It's tough for us to say, okay, you should use your black dollars this way, right? You should invest in the community. You should, own a team. You should, do all these different things, right? Because in most cases, they came up just like some of us have, or worse. So now that they have achieved this wealth and success, they want to enjoy it. And they want to help their families and their friends, people who have helped them get here, i.e., Mike Vick during that Vick documentary, right?
Right.
And I'm sure it's the same situation with LeBron, as we all know publicly. He's made that clear. Like, he wanted to put his people on. He put his friends on, and now they're running his businesses, right? So, and I guess it would be difficult for LeBron to basically make that decision because of his pursuit of a championship, doing what he loves to do, which is basketball. I will say this: LeBron still has done a lot in the community. And Educator, this is not to attack your point. I'm just saying that in his case, he's still doing something other than, i.e., Michael Jordan, who said even Republicans buy Nikes or buy Jordans rather. Okay, so again, and well, rather, why there will or do we believe that there can be another Black Wall Street? There surely can. It's a matter of, again, we can't look at who has the money, right? We have to start having conversations like this. We have to, and Shirley Wright said, but
we need to know our history, stick together no matter what.
Absolutely. We gotta, I can't say we need to establish a Wakanda or something, but because we can't do that in America. Again, as Chief alluded to, they shut that down. Okay, any Black leader, they're afraid of the Black Messiah. Okay, so they're gonna shut that down, as they've shown throughout history. To your point earlier, they didn't know what to do with us after the British left. They could have simply just sent us the fuck back home. Okay, we still had knowledge of our language and our heritage and our history. All right, that would have been at least a decent fucking thing to do, right? But nevertheless, that didn't happen. So now we're here, right? So I don't know. I just think that, again, it's tough, because I get y'all's point as far as should these billionaires be doing more? Again, it's just a matter of, well, for one, we only have a few out there. And also in their businesses, they have certain shareholders and other things happening where white people are still a part of their money, a part of their income flow. Okay. So that's still there too.
I just say that because we've had drug dealers like Big Meech, the Black Mafia family. Yeah, he sold drugs, but he was essentially like a Nino Brown. Yeah, he sold drugs. He ran this Black Mafia, the only Black Mafia in America's history. But he would have Christmas days. He would have turkey drives. He would have food drives. He would have, he would build youth centers. He would be involved in the community. You look at Larry Hoover. Yeah, he had a criminal organization, but he was for the people, and he built up his communities and spent a lot of his resources in uplifting the communities that he was in. So if drug dealers could take some of their money and uplift the community, then it's bullshit that they don't have. They can't. You don't even got to be there. You can just send the check.
True. Very true.
Yeah,
well, philanthropy is a tax write-off. It's a write-off anyway, so you have to give up a certain amount of money or pay it in taxes. Or black people try to hold all their money and go into tax problems instead of writing it off and giving it to a black organization and helping the community. And then you'll have a nigga like Wesley Snipes in tax problems on the IRS millions when you should have been giving out millions to the black community so that you don't owe none of that shit. White people participate in philanthropy, but black niggas don't even know what philanthropy is. And it's crazy, man. And you paying all this money to these accountants, but these accountants don't tell you none of this. And if they do, they steer you in the way of their foundations, of their charities. Not the ones that's gonna. There's 100 nonprofits in San Bernardino that I've met and known personally that's looking for funding. But why the Ronald McDonald Foundation get all the money? Why? You know what I'm saying? It's like, as black people, we can't keep using this excuse. Oh, we can't expect. If you gave out $30,000 out of your $18 million contract to build 3 youth centers in one city, and you did that 3 times a year, that's $100K. You spent that in the strip club on these dancers, nigga, 3 weekends ago.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean that's facts. That's facts. Again, should they do more? Absolutely. But we shouldn't be surprised or waiting for basically a handout. That's all I'm saying. Should they? Absolutely. If we all had $1 billion, we would be having a meeting about how we're gonna use this money that we have to get. Like, let's start a town. Let's establish certain things. Absolutely, we have that mindset. But again, we can't depend on other people, especially black people with money or again the few billionaires that are out there to have that same mindset. Again, they should. But we can't be surprised that they don't.
Yeah, they so far gone, man. It's that mentality, man. That's why the wilderness is so important to us, because a lot of us get buried there. The trip to the promised land was a month. It took us 40 years and we still ain't make it. You get what I'm saying? And that's the issue. And we try so hard to get out, we forget where we came from. And that's what we're seeing. We're the epitome right now of forgetting where we came from. I'd rather my $100,000 go in the strip club like this than handing it to the youth back where I'm from. Because I'm so tired of where I'm from. I'm so tired of it that I don't want nothing to do with it. They teach you that. It's like this little movie or something that says that same exact thing, where they say they're not worried about the black people who kind of transition over to their side. We worried about the ones who get that money and actually put it back into their community. Ask Nipsey Hussle about that.
Hey, I just wanted to say, I know my boy touched on for a lot of us in Jordan, right? One of my boys, Coach Jay, he spent it to me like this, and it changed my whole perspective about Jordan. Yeah, you don't hear about Jordan in the community like that, right? But how my boy spent it was, what is the resale value on a Jordan shoe?
Okay.
That Jordan shoe is always marked up. You
Every
find
time.
you find a Jordan 1, it's always marked up.
Every time.
And he said to me that his friend, a girl that he knows, she makes a living off of selling Jordans. So because I said the same thing. I was like, man, Jordan ain't do nothing for our community. He was like, is that right? All the people that buy and flip these Jordans, it's because of him. So if they sustaining their family in the hood, is he not giving to the hood because they're selling his product, his shoe? And I was like, damn, that's true. So he said he's not doing it maybe in the way that we will like him to do it. Because yeah, Jordan, you need to get some schools, you need to do stuff like that. But that resale value on that Jordan, where it pays for that single mom's light bill for flipping it, guess what he just did? It was because of the Jordan name. Kobe's dead, and his shoe is still not worth as much as Jordan's are. You know, LeBron's shoe ain't even close to what Jordan's are on that resale value. You know, and when he told me that, I was like, damn, all right, I guess.
Right.
But like how we said, at the end of the day, we still want these billionaires to do more, but they ain't going to do more. So what are we going to do? We just got to be strategic with our little stimulus check. Give me another stimulus check, Trump. We gotta be strategic with the money that we get.
Yeah, they get 3 this time.
Facts.
Yeah, come on, baby. Give me some more, man. You know what I'm saying? Do something before you get out of office.
Right.
It's just crazy to me that, like, you know, organizations like the Black Panthers evolved into what we look at as this gang culture now. Now we got places like Chicago, you know, like San Bernardino, you know, where it's just like it's crazy gang violence, you know, like the whole LA is just riddled with different gangs, and it's like gangs were created for protection. We had to protect our own communities, and that's why we started gangs within our own communities. So how it turned into gang banging and all that with Tukey Williams and Monster Cody. If y'all ever read that book Monster, man, it's a good read, man. Check that out. But it's just crazy to me that gang culture is just all on the forefront now. Like everybody's gang banging, everybody's affiliated with some type of if you're Black in America, 9 times out of 10 you're affiliated with some type of gang. And this is a terrible place for us to be if it's not going to be about unity, if it's not going to be about any structure, if there's not going to be a point or a means to an end behind these organizations, then it doesn't make sense why we're all affiliated with gangs that do nothing but kill each other and tear down our community. If we're all going to be affiliated with these gangs, then we need to be institutionalizing these gangs and basically teaching them some type of structure or something. I mean, we do have a standing army everywhere, but these gangbangers don't know nothing but to stand on the block, you know, pitch that rock, sell them drugs, you know, get high all day, and they don't know nothing else. But just like you said about the lion, that was a great reference. If you ain't seen nobody hunt, how you know how to go eat? And these niggas, all they seen was niggas hang on the block. All they seen was niggas go rob the one nigga that's coming up in the hood. And you know what I'm saying? This is all niggas know. So we really need to develop some type of leaders and lead by example. Because I had my little brother. I would do a lot of stuff, and I would tell him, like, you know, do different, don't do that. But it was around, like, when he got about 16, 17, and he got in this big fight and got kicked out of school. And that's when I realized, like, you know what? He's not listening to what I tell him. He's watching what I'm doing.
Bingo.
And, you know what I'm saying? And that's when it dawned me to make sure that I get on and be a positive influence in his life. And make sure that everything I showed and taught him, everything that he's seen from me was in a positive manner going forward, because I realized that he's not listening to me. He's watching me. The youth are watching, and they're going to follow what we do.
Exactly.
Yep.
It goes back to what my boy Chief was saying. It goes back to we don't know our history. So with us not knowing our history, we try to remake our own history, and that's where gangbanging is, you know. And like you be seeing, like it's weird to me how R&B singers are gang affiliates now. I just don't get how you an R&B singer dancing on the stage. Yeah, you an R&B singer dancing on the stage, but when you get off, you throwing up gang signs. This is kind of weird to me. But when I think about it, it's the same thing. They're just taking the same thing that the Democrats and the Republicans are doing, because that's the biggest gang in America, and they're just doing the same thing. They probably went up to those R&B singers, they got money, and say, "Yo, listen, you gonna need protection. So we're gonna put you on. You gonna be affiliate. You ain't on, but we're gonna put you on because you're gonna need protection." And then they probably like, "I ain't gonna need protection from nobody." And then they coming back to them like, "Yes, you are, because you're gonna need protection from this gang, and now you're gonna need protection for us. So you're gonna be helping build our community because you got the money." So like, I don't know, man. It's just for me personally, I remember when my dad kicked this to me a couple months ago, and he was like, you know, my dad was heavy in gangbanging. You know, he was heavy in gangbanging, and he told me, you know, you were growing up and everything, and you wanted to be like me, so you used to put the creases in your pants like me and do everything that I was doing. And one day I looked at you, and I said, "Damn, if I continue on the path that I continue on, two things is going to happen. Actually, three things is going to happen. One, me and my son going to be gangbanging together. Two, my son's going to join a different gang than I am, and we're going to be rivals. Three, my son is going to be dead." And so he decided, I'm done with gangbanging. He took me and my family, and he moved us 2-3 hours away from where he used to be at. And that was based upon him seeing it and going, "You know what? This can be my son, and I don't want this life for my son." So me growing up, like how we said, what do you see? I didn't see my dad as a gangbanger. Why? Because he wasn't in that life no more. So therefore, when am I not? I'm not a gangbanger. You know, people look at me like, "Oh, what's that you from?" "Ah, nah, bro. You got the wrong one." Why? Because that's not. I'm not in that. I'm not in that life. But if my dad was still in that environment, I'll be walking in his footsteps, hunting the same way that he hunted, instead of now hunting differently because of the change that he made.
Agreed. And what do we call that? Product of an environment, right? With gang culture, that has to be one of the main reasons why ultimately it exists, because again, it's been passed down, but we have to understand the history. Who were the gangs in those positions before us? The Irish, the Italians, okay, the Russians, okay. Once they decided, "Oh, you know what, we can control things from political positions or positions of power," what was left over? The drug game, prostitution, racketeering, all of those different things that now were in the Black community, but they ran it, right? So now it's time for somebody else to take it over. And there were cases of Black people involved with, had Italian friends or had Russian friends, whatever the case may be. So they already knew the game. So now that it's there, now they can take over that. And now here we go with passing it down the line, right? And again, especially for today's youth and the youth that we were in coming up, especially through the late 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s until now, I believe that is the number one thing, is our youth being brought up in that environment and ultimately being a product of that, because that's simply, what is right there in front of them. Again, BIG, you either going, you want to have a wicked jump shot or you're going to be out here slinging that crack rock. All right. So, that's my take on that. I think it's just, again, a product of the environment. And again, what's right there in front of you for that quick cash, for that quick advancement, for that quick power to get the girls, get the cars, get the money as quickly as possible. But again, that's there. Imagine if books were left back. Imagine if, some type of technology was left there in the communities, right? Just imagine if you replace drugs and guns with other things. We can only imagine at this point.
Facts. I mean, what Ice Cube said in that movie, we ain't have no boats or no planes to fly or float any of that ahead.
Yep.
So we know who the problem is, right? But so I gotta throw a biblical implication in this thing. And Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Stop there.
Depart from it.
Say it again.
They won't depart from it.
Exactly.
There you go. So
you train up the child. That's in the crib. That's where we lost the value of it takes a village to raise a child. Back in the day, you used to get your mama.
Everybody whooped you.
Everybody whipped you. Your mama knew what you did at school before you even know. Because you done got 9 whoopings by the time you got home, right? We can't do that no more as Child Protective Service, right? So it's like train up the child as you should go, right? So we in this time right now where they have already threw all this on us: oppression, drug, guns, all of that. That's what's training our child. Those are training our youth as we speak. We on here for 1 hour and 7 minutes. Lord forbid, but somebody's child just probably got knocked off easy because of the environment, like Amrock said, right? We have to change the way we training up our children, because like you said, Caleb, they not listening no more. And it's tough because it's hard to show our actions because of social media, because of what other media that they watching. So they barely even looking at us no more, especially if they get that damn phone when they 12.
Yeah, and real quick, they are listening to social media, but it's the wrong shit that they're listening to or watching. So again, replace that with something. It's, again, we brought this up on the show. Instead of Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion doing the WAP video, imagine if they did a tribute to Breonna Taylor or Sandra Bland or something like that.
Yeah. Once again, train up a child in the way that he should go. It's as simple as that. You train up a child, you get different results.
I'm a direct result of that. My stepfather is from Stockton, California. That's up Oakland, and the Black Panthers, started from that area. So he grew up in that. So that was instilled in my household, and that's why I am the way that I am with my ideology. That's because that's what I seen growing up. That's what I grew up knowing and watching. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a living testament of exactly what you guys are saying, man. We're gonna go off of what we see.
Agreed.
And on the last note of that, hey, the white people are training their child to be racist, to keep you oppressed, to do all that stuff to you. So you better be training your child up, because they sure are training theirs, letting them know this is how you do the stock, this is how you do this, and this is how you keep your foot on their neck.
It's called curriculum. We've been learning it since kindergarten. It's called a curriculum. What they teach them in curriculums is what they have been teaching their children that at home and in school. They didn't know what to do with us, like we spoke of earlier. So they put us in the same curriculum to work for them, to be oppressed by them. If we can't change the curriculum, meaning, training that child up here, giving them that real, true, godly, not earthly curriculum is over with. Them curriculums are killing us right now. You get what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. But we gotta wrap it up. Let's get some shout outs before we get out of here.
Yeah, we at an hour and 10 right now. They weren't ready for this one.
Yeah, go ahead, HL, do your shout outs before we got here.
Oh man, well definitely got a shout out to you, Sir Vaughn, man. Definitely appreciate you having us on, man. Shout out to Educator, man. Check out A Dad's Hustle on IG. I know you're gonna do your shout outs too.
Yeah.
But I just want to, definitely show appreciation to y'all. HL Podcast, again, on all major platforms, on the PolitiKan app.
Cut it now.
Oh, right at the end too.
Oh,
They done froze up.
it froze up at the end.
I know. Go ahead, get yours in.
First and foremost, I thank you, Caleb. I thank the PolitiKan Broadcast. Shout out to Brand of Encouragement, Focus on the Future, Running Wild. Shout out to H&L Podcast. Shout out to everybody that is trying to make a difference in the world. And if you haven't tuned in, you better start tuning in. I'm the one and only Educator, and this is PolitiKan Podcast. Let's get it.
Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead, run it back, because y'all froze up. What were you saying?
I was saying, sorry, we just had some technical difficulties, but justice for Breonna Taylor, man.
Yeah.
I know, man. You see LeBron very quiet about that now because he got to win a championship.
True. That is true.
That's a conversation for next week.
One of my favorite Prodigy lines is, "It's a war going on outside, no man is safe from."
There you go.
It's a spiritual warfare. Like, we're looking at this presidential debate, and that's one thing that I noticed right off the bat is this is not a war for us. This is a war for our souls. This is a spiritual warfare going on. And once we recognize that, then we'll move in the right way. But I have faith and I walk in faith. One of my favorite movies. What was that? The Denzel movie. I can't think of the name of it off the top.
Great Debaters. Malcolm X.
Book of Eli.
Book of Eli.
That's my
He had the Bible, the last Bible on earth, and it was written in Braille. He was blind. He did the whole everything walking in faith, man. And that's, you don't need sight when you walk in faith, man. That's just one thing I want to leave you with. PolitiKan The Podcast.
Against flesh and blood, we wrestle against every principality.
Yes, sir. All right, man. We out of here. PolitiKan The Podcast, man.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I wanted to hear. Wait. No. Don't hit that